Say good
Welcome.
morning
Welcome.
and welcome.
How are you feeling? Saga?
Good.
I'm sleepy. I'm glad it's Friday.
We're glad to on your behalf.
Yes, I need to sleep. Good
Hmm?
morning, Lagos.
Good morning. I hope people are not are not stuck in traffic on Ozumba Mbadiwe. For those who didn't get the memo, I've gotten so many WhatsApp messages. The news has already gone on. The
That's what
tanker that
fell
fell over.
over.
Yes, they've actually cordoned off that part of the road due to security and safety concerns because the diesel has poured on the road. So I'm really, really grateful to the Lagos State Emergency Response Team who are there. The fire service is there as well.
Mm.
So they're containing things, but traffic they're not allowing
You
traffic
cannot.
yes,
You
on either
cannot.
side of the road,
If not, some
which
post
is
village
very
people will go
good.
and be fetching
Some people already
They already
started doing
started
that.
trying
fetching
now
diesel.
this morning. Yes,
Fetching, and
You
at,
people did not hear when my village burnt one time.
at 5:30 a.m.
yeah, and so I'm really grateful that things
Uh,
didn't, there wasn't an
Escalate
explosion,
into
yeah,
yeah.
and I was contained really early.
It
So
didn't become a
if
JC situation.
exactly, if you're facing inconvenience, please don't be too upset. It's for your own safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we wouldn't have a disaster. So a big thanks to the Lagos State authorities for attending to this really quickly, and apologies to everyone who has been inconvenienced this morning as a result
Okay.
of that.
Having said that, you owe me 2 minutes.
Yeah, part of our safety
Okay,
apparatus.
you will know.
So after speaking all this English, you owe me
You owe
2 minutes. Let's get right to it. We're streaming live on Instagram at Valentine Ohu, on YouTube. We're live at Smooth 91 FM. Just type in the search box Smooth 91 FM Lagos and you can watch. And please send messages through WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. That is our WhatsApp number 0809 444 0981. And we're live on Twitter.
On Twitter, it's at Smooth981FM. Kindly use the hashtag LockerRoom981. If you'd like to follow us on YouTube and see what's going on behind the scenes, you're most welcome to do so. Go to youtube.com and search for Smooth 98.1 FM.
Former NBA Commissioner David Stern was admitted to a New York hospital on Thursday afternoon, that's yesterday afternoon, after suffering a brain hemorrhage. The league announced this, and in a statement the NBA released, it said, quote, NBA Commissioner Emeritus David Stern suffered a sudden brain hemorrhage early today, for which he underwent emergency surgery. Our thoughts and prayers are with David and his family.
Yes, so sad, and we haven't heard any news after that, but that he's better, if he's stable, what the situation is. We haven't heard much about the news, but what so far what we can say is it's a really huge loss of, should I say, it's a really huge sad news on the NBA for David Stern. He, if you don't remember him, he was the NBA commissioner for 30 years in the NBA. He was the one that brought more TV money. He was the one that increased the number of teams in the NBA. He was the one that insisted that people had to have at least 1 year of college before they can come into the NBA, so that if something happened, you have insurance. He was also one of those that tried to kill this big team mentality, where one big team with money will go and bring all the big players. I mean, under David Stern, Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant would never have happened. He was that kind of guy. He wanted that equality and that spread. So I mean, he made some very good changes. Made NBA the way it is today. Made it global. The way it is today. Helped it to grow, and for this to happen to him now, I'm sure it has taken. It will take its toll on the NBA. But we wish him quick recovery. I don't know how quick a recovery brain hemorrhage time takes, but we wish him that. We wish him full recovery. He's just 77. He's a small boy now. So let's see how he pulls through.
He's just how old?
He's 77. He's a small boy.
77 is a
Yes,
small.
no. Yes,
okay.
no.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you, my family, my father died at 77. All my older uncles were just angry. I'm not small picking now. How did they die like that? that's
I heard you exclaim this morning. Who was the one you were exclaiming? It was quite sad and quite shocking. All right, let's move on to some Formula One news. And we want to ask: is Lewis Hamilton going the Ferrari way? Well, Ferrari chief admits to conversations with world champion. Ferrari admit that they've held talks with world champion Lewis Hamilton about joining them in the future. The chief executive officer of Ferrari, Lewis Camilleri said at the media launch that Hamilton has had conversations with chairman John Elkann. Camilleri said Ferrari were very flattered, Lewis in particular, and other drivers want to join them. It's totally premature. We'll look at our options at the appropriate time and see what is the best fit, he added.
Okay, so that is a big deal. So they're tapping off Liberty Media, the owners of F1, are tapping off Toto Wolff to replace the CEO, and because they are doing that, it's such a big position that yes, Toto Wolff is a Mercedes, but imagine you running the whole of Formula One, the entire Formula One. It's a step up. It's a big deal, and he may not even have to travel as much or as early as the team principals usually do. So it will give him more time with his family. It will make a few more changes, give him a lot more money in his pockets. His CV will get bigger. There's all of that, the perks, but he hasn't yet made his decision. And Lewis Hamilton is thinking that if Toto Wolff goes, he may not want to remain at Mercedes. And so that Toto Wolff's decision is also going to inform Lewis Hamilton's decision. And there was always that question of, is Ferrari going to take him? Especially after Binotto said, now that we know that he's available, we may want to ask him. And then there were whispers that, oh, Lewis Hamilton has met with the hierarchy of Ferrari. At first, look, they asked Lewis Hamilton, of course, he was giving diplomatic answer. If we do meet, it will be a private thing. It will be a private thing. This, that. Now the Ferrari bosses have come out to say, we did meet, but it's informal. We just had a little lunch and then we spoke. So, but those kind of things actually, those kind of rumors or those kind of meetings actually now pose questions. Is he moving to Ferrari? If he's moving to Ferrari, is Sebastian Vettel going? How is he going to take it? How is that going to take its toll on his relationship with Lewis Hamilton? You know, there's a lot of drama going on behind the scenes. But what it is that Lewis Hamilton, what he has with Mercedes is great. What Ferrari can give him may be more money. And because he's going to be 33 next year, January, so it's not a long time away. Because he's getting older, he's going to be leaving the sport soon. I'm sure he'd want to make as much as he can from the sport, even if there are other businesses that he makes money from. So yes, it's something that is not out of the picture, and the fact that he's not saying yes or no means that he's still thinking about it in his mind. But ultimately, it will come down to that Toto Wolff decision.
Do you know why I'm dancing?
Why are you dancing?
Guess whose birthday mate is Lewis Hamilton?
Ayo.
Your birthday mate. Yay.
That's what you're researching the whole
It doesn't mean you can drive. That's all it means.
Oh.
I'm a bad driver. When I say bad, I mean
You're
good.
bad.
I mean good. I'm a Formula One driver.
That's all we are going to say. Just
if you're a Formula One driver, you're driving like a Formula One driver on Lekki Ekpa Expressway, you're a bad driver.
very bad
Can we
driver.
accept that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Barcelona and Real Madrid could be playing for to be first in La Liga over the Christmas break on Wednesday, but both are at risk of pre-classical defeats if their focus wavers this weekend. Already qualified in Europe, Barcelona and Real Madrid had the luxury of rotating key players in midweek, but as the emphasis shifts towards their crunch meeting at Camp Nou, the danger is that they underestimated the tasks in front of them. Barca's away at free-flowing fourth-placed Real Sociedad on Saturday, while Madrid's trip is on Sunday to a revived Valencia.
Yes.
Seems like an interesting fixture.
Yes, so they both have tricky fixtures this weekend. But with the anticipation of the El Clasico on Wednesday, it can distract, because you know how you be looking at killing the big fish, and then the person in front of you, Anthony Joshua, that's one example. Nigeria at 1998 World Cup, that's another example. So that's how you be aiming for big fish, and then the man in front of you, this little man in front of you, is one that's going to defeat you. So what both clubs need to do is try and keep the focus, but it's hard to do that. Already there are talks of maybe of another postponement of the El Clasico, because people have planned that on that day they're going to be outside. There's going to be a crowd outside protesting for Catalonia.
Yeah.
They want to leave Spain. So there's that issue. And that's taking over the news, and that's taking over security.
And that's been going on for a long time.
That's been going on for a long time, but it's heightened now that the El Clasico has, because it died down for a while, and then 18th of December started coming, and they're like, okay, yes, the eyes of the world will be here. Let's get here. And so it has come up again, and there's a lot of security, and there's a lot of talks about it. So it's not something either team can ignore. And then you add that to the fact that both teams are on the same point at the top of the table, and this may give them just one chance to make somebody superior. Nobody's looking for draw. They didn't come to this Clasico to play draw. They're here to try. They're here to try and get all 3 points, and then give themselves a little breathing space, even if it's just a one game breathing space at the top of the table. So it's really big, and they can't ignore it. Unfortunately, people like Valencia that are playing Real Madrid are not smiling. Like, first of all, they have that confidence coming back from beating Ajax away at Holland and topping their group. So they are right now, they are proud. Their shoulder is on their ear level. They can't even, they're not even your mate. And then they're playing at home, hosting a Real Madrid side. So they want to come in with that, that courage, that character, that confidence against a Real Madrid side. It's going to be a tough fixture. Well, it looks like it's going to be a tough fixture, because sometimes confidence works in 2 ways. You get into the match and believe you can, and you cannot. And in the first 3 minutes, there'll be some glass goals. And next thing you know, you're 3 goals down, and it's not quarter of the game gone yet. So there's that adverse effect, but there's also the effect that because they're so confident, things they wouldn't have thought they could do before, they'll be doing it and give Real Madrid a tough time. So it sets up for an interesting fixture, which is why neither team should take their eye off, play the match in front of you at the end of the day.
And focus on it.
And after that, you can now think of the battle of tomorrow.
All right. We have messages. Oyewole sent in this one on WhatsApp. Oyewole from Ikoyi says, if it's about money, isn't it possible for him to negotiate with Mercedes? I just have a feeling that the Ferrari car might not help him, unlike Mercedes did.
Then MI from Makoka says, Tega, what do you mean that Ayo can't drive? She drives up the energy in the studio with her good morning at 6 a.m. Seriously, aside from all the achievement talk, Uncle would like to secure more bags. Thank you, MI. And yes, I drive on air and off air. I'm a fantastic driver.
Anything you say.
Send us messages on WhatsApp 0809444091, or send it across to Twitter at Smooth981FM. The hashtag is LockerRoom981. We'll give you a chance to banter better with Coca-Cola next. But in the meantime, we'll still remind you here that we're streaming live on YouTube, so you can go there to watch us live in the studio, as well as Instagram live at Valentine_Ohu, on Twitter at ValentineOhu, on Instagram. Stay with us.
8.1. Love music. Love life.
I actually did think that we go on break at 8:28. That's why, you used to have 4 stories. And not started making them 3 stories.
They removed that ad.
So they removed that whole ad block. Okay, so that I don't make that mistake. So I put only 3 stories. Okay. And that's why when it was 8:28, I was like,
Hi guys.
Yeah, so
Ayo, where are you going to this morning?
I have an event. I have a party. I'm going to party.
Party after party.
Party. This is the party after party after.
What are you singing?
It's time.
Partner of the English Premier League. Coming in as a trailer, he is in 5th place. Is he close enough? Yes. Here comes the gun. This should be fun. Yes. Look out for him.
This segment is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official sponsor of the English Premier League. Banter better with Coca-Cola.
And let's talk about the English Premier League. Banter better with Coca-Cola is the hashtag you're going to use. Add it to all the messages you send across through Twitter, through Instagram, through YouTube, and let us know exactly how you feel about these stories. But please do not use disparaging remarks. Keep your comments clear of vulgar or insulting words, and send your comments with the hashtag Banter Better with Coca-Cola,
And
so the
please,
messages can be read.
exactly. And please don't slide into people's DM after the banter. It's just banter, eh? That's another one. There are many matches to banter with. So Arsenal face Manchester City on Sunday. Manchester United face Everton on Sunday. So I think Sunday is a big day. Teams like Chelsea, Watford is at the bottom of the table. Sorry, Liverpool, Watford. Watford is at the bottom of the table. Liverpool is at the top. Seems like it's going to be 5-0. The question looks like by how many goals will Liverpool win? So that may not be a match to banter, but Arsenal is really ripe for the picking. Yes, I said it. No Sebog is in the city looking at me. Our team is ripe for the picking. So you can banter away.
Yes.
Have at it.
I accept him.
You guys should leave me and my teams alone. Thank you very much. Oh yes, interesting. We move on to Everton. Everton stick with Ferguson for United trip. Now don't forget to send in your messages so that we can read them. Kindly send them to our WhatsApp platform, Twitter platform, and on YouTube. WhatsApp is 0809 444 0981. On Twitter, it's at Smooth981FM. Don't forget to use the hashtag BanterBetter with Coca-Cola for all your messages. Let's banter. So Everton interim boss Duncan Ferguson will remain in charge for Sunday's match at Manchester United as the Merseyside club continues the search for Marco Silva's replacement. Former Everton striker Ferguson, who was part of Silva's first team coaching staff, guided them to a 3-1 win over Chelsea on Saturday, but said before the match that the club was on the lookout for a top manager.
Yeah. So here is what it is. When Ancelotti left Napoli, everybody and their neighbor thought that he was going to Everton. And so now Everton has not picked him. They also talked about David Moyes coming back to Everton.
No way.
Yes, sometimes when the preferable is not available. The available becomes
preferable
in this. I don't know who their preference is because right. I don't know what Everton wants. Everton is as confused as Arsenal when it comes to management. What's your plan? Are you reaching too much? For Everton, is it that you are reaching too much? For Arsenal, is it that they don't even know what they want to do? It looks like they don't know what they want to do. But so what it is they've decided now to stick with Ferguson. Ferguson did win them a game against Chelsea. It was going to be a tough one. I don't think that they counted that as 3 points for themselves prior to the game, even when Everton looked like they were getting results. So for them to get that result against Chelsea with an interim manager like Ferguson, they're like, okay, perhaps maybe we should just hang on to him and see if it's going to be possible for him to weather this storm. Now they play against the Manchester United side that came from defeating AZ Alkmaar by 4-0. So Manchester United they're really high on things now. Tottenham scalp, Manchester City scalp, Europa scalp. So they're good to go. They're in a very good place right now, and now they believe they can do anything, just like Ayo believes she can drive like LewisHamilton. They believe like you. And so it is still going to be a tough reach, but because of the confidence and the result that Everton had the last time out, they too may approach this match a little differently. So it becomes a question of who is more bold or who believes more. And then at the end of the day, whoever believes more can take the game. But what it is that Everton has decided to stick with Manchester United. So Everton decided to stick with Ferguson, not Alex Ferguson of Manchester United, Duncan Ferguson of Everton. So don't confuse it too, because when people have the same surname, like I have the same birthday, you start to believe you can fly.
Yes. I'm so happy you put that, made that clear. Agumbo Aderio says, I hold nothing against Arsenal. If God has decided to punish them through Manchester City, who am I to cheer to cheer God's plan?
Wow.
Read one. Hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola.
Honestly. All right, let's go on to that Arsenal match.
Okay, so Xhaka was amazing. That's what Ljungberg said after the game. I think he was a bit upset with me before the game that he had to play wing back and then full back because he does not like it so much. But no, he's a tremendous talent, and you can see it here again. His final ball and the last bit is always effective, and there's always an end product to his work. And that's Freddie Ljungberg hailing Bukayo Saka. Very, very interesting. Do you think he
Okay.
has a special preference for him?
First of all, this gives me an insight to how Freddie Ljungberg manages, because he comes out and says, "Oh, Saka is miffed at me for playing him in a particular role, but I think he's amazing," which means that you are negotiating with terrorists. Well, he, as a manager, you don't. There are certain things you don't need to explain. I understand that we're in 2019 and there's a lot of liberalism. Well, there's supposed liberalism, because if there's real liberalism, Boris Johnson wouldn't be winning, but that's a different story. The supposed or alleged liberalism where you're supposed to talk to your players. But what it is that if you've seen that the player can fit a particular role and fit a particular system, put him there. Whether he's miffed, if he's too miffed, he should go and sit on the bench. But if he wants to play, he has to play according to what you're sending him. So the fact that you're actually still discussing it about whether he's happy or he's sad means that this management style, he's trying to be their friend and at the same time be their manager. It cannot work. It's like trying to parent a teenager and be her friend at the same time. No, you're either the parent or the friend. Don't try to be. So what it is, that's the first thing I've noticed from this. But I think he has a way of pushing his team, not necessarily with a hairdryer moment at halftime, but sometimes just by telling them where to play and what to play, because Freddie Ljungberg was that kind of guy as a player. He wasn't necessarily shouting kind, but Freddie Ljungberg, if you watch 300, Freddie Ljungberg is a guy that it took several people to slash him to die. Yeah, he would have a serious injury and he would take a painkiller and continue playing.
So graphic.
That's how the guy is. So he's that kind of guy that even when you feel tired, or he told you that there's still something extra you can push for, and maybe that's how he gets his result. I don't think he will make a good long-term plan, but the stopgap work that he's done yesterday to get his team back from 2-0 down away at Standard Liège to 2-2. And then still managed to top the group when it looked like they were not even going to qualify at some point in time yesterday, was a good deal. But they play against a Manchester City side that is wounded. And this is Pep Guardiola. Let me tell you how wounded Manchester City is. They had a party, end of year party, like all clubs have. Guardiola said nobody should go to the party. That if you go to the party, you have a dip in form. Well, they already have a dip in form, so I expect that he expected them to have a more worse dip in form. So no player went for the party. No player had Christmas at Manchester City.
They're not even smiling.
Exactly, they're not smiling. So that's the team you're going to play against. That's the team that wants results. That's the team that's pulling out all the stops. So as much as Freddie Ljungberg tries to motivate and inspire, it's not looking like.
I'm not optimistic about him though. If you ask me, I think they're going to go to Man City and they're going to pull a surprise on us all.
Okay, I have dumped it.
I have dumped it. Anyone wants to challenge me on that one? All right. So MIF Makoka says banter better with Coca-Cola. Tega Supreme just put Arsenal and everything in the same WhatsApp group. My chest. I am in severe pains. I'm saying it the way he wrote it. Duncan Ferguson will meet the original OG, Sir Alex Ferguson, this weekend. Last, he will ask for autographs. And then Ayodeji says, thank you so much, Ayodeji. I'm so grateful, my namesake.
All right, Ayodeji says, you people should leave Ayo alone. You're what you believe. She's a good driver.
Wow, I don't even know which one I believe. I think you just insulted me a bit more.
No.
All right, don't forget to add hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola to your messages. Obina Okereko Cha says, shout out to Tega United all the way. Anytime you're up for breakfast, holla.
Ooh, breakfast!
He just made Tega's weekend.
Breakfast and Coca-Cola.
All right, Boston says hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola. He's an Arsenal fan. Based on our match with Man City, we can never say, but I'm sure the thunder we will face will come with table of content. No, I don't agree. I do. Boston, you're not a true Arsenal fan.
Really? All right, Cruz says, Ayo, have you started reverse prediction like I used to do? Have you now?
All right.
Hashtag-
Banter better with Coca-Cola.
Thank
You
you
guys are
very
using me as your banter.
Talking point.
No, but you said it now. You said Arsenal will pull out. But if Arsenal now pulls out, it's a surprise. I don't have money to buy Ayo breakfast.
Thank you.
Let me
Tell me. Bet on it, please.
No, I don't do
please,
that
you
kind
don't
of
bet.
rough play.
No,
We
not
don't-
bet, we
no,
food. We don't
no,
bet
we
with
don't
money.
do that kind of rough
Okay,
play.
Zizi Classic is here. He says, hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola from Zizi Classic. It's amazing Tegas watch movies too. Respect to you, ma'am. Honestly. So, because you mentioned 300, like
Yeah.
you have time to watch movies? Where? How? All right, we have Markins from Magodo. Markins from Magodo says, banter better with Coca-Cola. Please, we can't. Oh, he says he wants to see your face, Tega. He loves the analysis, always looks forward to your analysis on the show. So please let your face show online. And by the way, he's talking about our YouTube channel. So go onto YouTube if you want to see our faces.
All right, Emma from Makoka says Ijoba Limberg expecting more of his Shaka Maja against Manchester City this weekend. He should stop drawing our attention to his manager player issues. Hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola.
All right, we have some comments on YouTube. The real Femi, I don't understand. He says, Ayo, can I come with you? To where? To see the Arsenal game. And then
eat breakfast.
No, to where you're going to.
I know.
Oh.
Kodji says Arsenal is right for the picking. Tega no dear joy. Just right beside Ayo, no form of pity whatsoever. Honestly. And then he goes on to say Ancelotti is the closest to being a friend and a coach. Don't think I've ever heard a player have a problem with him. Hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola.
That's really nice. Please add your names to your messages so we can take them. This one ending with 5553.
And we're going to read this one. Our name is Bosu is Bosu now.
All right,
Because
Bosu.
Bosu has promised me something. He says, Ayo, with the way we've been playing there, I don't want to deceive myself. If we win, I'll buy Ayo food. You heard it. Hashtag banter better with
Sorry, if
Coca-Cola.
who wins?
Arsenal.
Are you an Arsenal fan?
She's a Mansenal fan.
Thank you. I think I remember.
But then when we're talking about Arsenal and I call her attention, she just looks away.
She's
like
Mansenal. Because some days she's the man that is
Let's talk
predominant.
about another team that I really like. Leicester, or shall we go on to Chelsea? Let's do Leicester first. Rogers rules out January departures from Leicester, so there'll be nobody leaving in January categorically. He said.
Yes. So now, Rogers. First of all, I think anybody that wants to go to Leicester City now to buy players is not it's not a good economic move, because of the fact that they're still in contention for the title, at least mathematically. They're the closest to Liverpool, just 8 points behind them. They're in a good run of form. It will be ridiculous for you to say I'm going to bid for any Leicester player now, because the price has tripled. Inflation has entered the place. You cannot go there and buy cheap players at this particular point in time. So for any club that is looking at them, does not make any sense to make that move right now. However, I'm going to say this. Should a club decide that we have money, we are billionaires, and we can spend it how we like, and they come to table that money, put that money on the table, there is nothing Brendan Rodgers and his ancestors can do. The player is going. I don't know why all these managers brag. Players are like tapes in a video club. Anybody can rent them. Just move on with your life. So should a club decide that, you know what, that you're too proud, oh yeah, see money, the player is going. So him categorically saying that nobody's moving and doesn't amount for too much. But I would say this: no club should go to Leicester now.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense. You now buy something that it should
But
be.
like you said, if you want to prove a point and you have some cash to spare, then of course, by all means.
Why not if not?
Rogers and I quote Tega and his ancestors cannot do anything about it.
Yamat from Agege says, Tega, Everton are a top team. Everton have good players. Top match for United. Interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's probably the only Everton team supporter in Nigeria.
We want to thank you all for sending your messages with the hashtag banter better with Coca-Cola. And this segment was brought to you by Coca-Cola. And of course, Tega Supreme is Tega Supreme. Tega Naja can be found on Twitter as @Tega Supreme. And follow all the activities of ladies in sports when you follow at LIS International. Next, Lagos, we get to talk at 9 o'clock.
Coming in as a